I am back in the UK. For those that follow my Instagram and TikTok, you would have seen that I was away for a week and I've just been getting it back in the groove of everything and being back. I was in Malta, which is the first time that I've ever been. So it's another country to add to my list of places that I've been, which is very exciting. So it was a bit of a birthday, New Year's, baby moon, all tied into one. And honestly, it was such a good trip. I think a week was maybe a bit too long for us, but it ended up being amazing regardless. We flew out on the 29th, which was the day before my birthday. So we ended up having a kind of a chill day and just looking around. On the 29th, we did a little walk to sort of scope out the area that we're staying in, which was St Julian's, which is known to be a bit of a party area, which me being, how many weeks was I? 18, 19 weeks pregnant, not my scene, but because it was off season 2, there wasn't so much partying, but we did see a lot of like gentlemen's clubs, let's say, and pubs when we're walking around. There was a shopping mall and like a lot of, what do you call them? Like supermarkets. I don't know why I was struggling to think of the word. So we ended up going to Little Greens, which is this nice little grocers where they make fresh sandwiches and fresh pastries every day, and they're open 24/7. So we went there almost every morning. And also because Malta is one of those places that I feel like you can drink the tap water, but people don't really. So ended up getting a lot of water just because trying to stay as hydrated as possible. But the weather there was so amazing. It was about 18 degrees each day. We were expecting a whole week of rain. There were spots of rain, and on New Year's Eve there was a thunderstorm, which meant that we actually stayed in the hotel room the whole day, including New Year's Eve. I actually went to bed early and woke up and it was 5 minutes before midnight, so I just stayed up for those 5 minutes and was like, Happy New Year, and then went back to sleep. But the trip was amazing. For my birthday, we went on this cruise, which was around islands. It was probably one of the sunniest days, so I felt like the sun came out for me. We got to see Blue Lagoon, which the sea was so clear in this really light, almost like teal blue water that you could see right to the bottom for quite a long distance. And then we went to Gozo, which the centre was Victoria, and walked around there and basically got some ice cream and kind of headed back. So it was such an amazing birthday. I turned 27, we went out for dinner, I dressed up to the nines and was still offered wine, etc., even though I was pregnant. But you know what, like I feel like maybe it's better not to assume for people in comparison to assuming that you are, even when you've said you are. I don't think everyone clocked on, rather than them assuming a woman's pregnant and not offering those things and her being offended if she's not. So is what it is. On the last day when we were coming back, we decided to see the cliffs. We were going to see it the day before, but actually our flight was quite late. It was at 9:25 in the evening, so you need to fill the whole day. We had a later checkout at 12. We stayed at Hotel Valentina, which was really nice, really like bougie, clean, friendly vibes. Wouldn't recommend it enough. And they had a pool on the roof as well as a indoor pool, which we didn't visit in the end, but it definitely had the facilities there if you wanted a bit more of a bougie holiday. Sadly, my swim costumes do not fit me, so I was not going to be that like beached whale in the water. We ended up doing the cliffs on the day that we were getting home. So we went to this little town called Mdina, which was stunning. It's very old school and very religious, and the buildings were just gorgeous. And we went from there to see St Paul's catacombs, where we saw it was St Paul's grotto, the catacombs, and also the World War II shelters. There's quite a lot of history in Malta, and so we got to, during our stay, see the World War II museum and the catacombs as well as the shelters, which was honestly amazing and just such an interesting insight into the history of Malta and what happened in the war. After we saw the catacombs, we got a Bolt, which highly recommend using Bolt if you are in Malta. It's a lot cheaper, and there is Uber, but there seems to be more Bolts there and it's very affordable, so would highly recommend, including from the airport. Don't get your airport transfer with your hotel, just get a Bolt. They're super efficient, literally like Uber, cheaper, and there wasn't anywhere that we went that we couldn't get a Bolt. Bar the cliffs. So that was the middle of nowhere. We had to walk back quite a bit to be able to get a Bolt, but they were still there, so you know, we weren't completely stranded. The cliffs, I forgot that I have like somewhat a fear of heights. I don't know if it's a fear of heights or a fear of death, which sounds so morbid, but I'm just terrified and I can't get close to the edge. So we got some pictures. My boyfriend is the opposite. He's such an adventure seeker, like adrenaline junkie. So he was very close to the edge, which gave me a heart attack. Not literally, but it felt like the very protective maternal instincts came in and I was like, babe, get away from the side. I was just like that person yelling the whole time. I was crying, my hormones just like freaking out, and my fear of being like, he's gonna try and mess about and end up falling. He didn't. It's not that I don't trust him, I just have this fear. But regardless, the views were amazing and it was very safe. Where I was stood was very safe. I did get some amazing pictures of my bump as well with the sunset. We ended up walking right to this area where you could see, like within the cliff bit, you could look out to the side and see the other cliff bit. I'll have a photo here so you can actually see what I'm referencing, but it was such an incredible way to spend the last day that we're in Malta with so much packed in, and thankfully we were thinking that we'll be so tired that by the time we're on the plane we'll just knock out and be asleep. Unfortunately that wasn't the case. Our plane was delayed by over half an hour, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when it's already a late flight it just feels like a lot. We ended up getting back to the UK at about midnight, which, because it was Stansted, it's about an hour and a half drive. So I ended up getting a small coffee, which is in my pregnancy allowance before I have anyone come here and call me out. But it was absolutely freezing. It was icy cold. It was -5, so I had to defrost the car, and for whatever reason I need my car cleaned. Like it was not complying, so had to have the windows open some of the way back, like I say some of the way, most of the way back, which meant we basically froze to death in the car while I was driving it because it kept frosting up and I just couldn't clear it for love nor money. And I was using heat at first and that was just steaming it up, so we had to use cold, but the cold air wasn't quite enough, so had to have the window down to make it like actually cold, and that just meant us like the whole way. Thankfully got home, but by the time I got to bed it was about 3 in the morning. Just silly me, like I had set myself up to work the Monday, so getting in bed at 3:30 by the time I probably fell asleep was not very smart. I ended up waking up and starting a bit of work, and I had a call that day as well, so it was a lot that day, and it's just put my week back a little bit. I am having a honey, lemon and ginger tea because I feel a bit rough, to be honest, and I think it's just being worn out, and that being the start of the week was enough to wipe the rest of the week out, as if it's not hard enough getting back. But for those that are looking for a nice break, I would say Malta is amazing. I wouldn't say go as long as 1 week. Like I feel like for us 1 week was a bit too long. We had a couple chill days where we weren't really doing much within that week, and it still felt like we've done quite a bit. We went to the aquarium, we went to the cliffs, we went on the cruise, we walked around St Julian's. Like there was a lot. I even went on a 2-hour walk one day. Like there was a lot that we did, and it felt like some of the days were just killing time. However, we usually book out and plan our holidays to like such an extent that it was kind of helpful to have some of those days as chill days too, where and nothing to do. I didn't take my laptop with me, so I didn't work, which, sorry, I'm such a workaholic that was an achievement for me. But it was a nice way to start 2026, and I'm excited for all the things to come. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. If you've been to Malta or thought about going to Malta, please leave a comment below because I'd love to know what you think and where you would like to explore or have explored. If you're thinking about going to Malta or have been to Malta, please leave a comment below because I'd love to know where you've explored or where you would like to explore and when you're planning on going, because we went at such an off-peak time of year. And for those that want to see a bit more from me, I am posting a bit more consistently on Instagram and TikTok. I post a lot more on there, which is at Maya Kepping, and please subscribe because I will be sharing a bit more this year of my life, my journey, my business, hopefully travel, but I feel like maybe not with baby on the way. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.